Good morning, Isabelle. Here's your machine, the breville Barista Express BES870 in silver. So, as you saw in the photos, this is a very clean machine. Technically, it's a display unit, so it's been on the show floor for a few months. So this is about a year old, this model, but it's been used very little, and very few scratches around here. A small dent on the left. Generally very clean. I'll give it a 9 out of 10 actually. And after the video, I'll be giving it a good clean as well, so it can look nice and shiny. Anyway, so the machine is up to temperature now. Usually it takes about a minute to warm up. You'll see the buttons light up when it's up to temperature. Your machine comes with milk jug, cleaning tools, and all of the baskets. So pretty much everything. Obviously the tamper and the port filter as well. So I'm going to put this on the side. And with these machines, I think you can turn it on and it'll turn off after 20 minutes if you don't use it. In that 20 minutes, it will get warm, and it will also warm the top plate, so you can put your cups over here for them to warm up. But if you just turned it on and you want to make a coffee quickly and you want to make sure everything is nice and hot, so the portafilter, the grip head and the cup, you can just run a blank shot. So put your cup under here and run a double shot, for example. That will just run hot water through the system to warm things up. You can do that once or twice, it's up to you. Doesn't hurt to do it twice. Well, anyway, I'll do it once for the video. I'll take out the portafilter and use a tissue to dry the water. So it's important to use a dry basket. This here is the double basket, so it takes 18 grams of ground coffee. So we'll try to put 18 grams in here. I'm going to use my scale over here, so I think having a scale is very helpful to making coffee. So you can measure the ground coffee going in and the espresso coming out. That way you can have more precision in your shots. I've set the grind size to number 6. I think it's in the right ballpark, judging based on the feel. But the only way to know if we have the correct grind size is if we make a coffee. So every bean is different, every machine is different, so you can't have the same settings all the time. You have to change the settings based on how the coffee comes out. So number 6 on the grind size here. I'll keep this grind amount on about 12 o'clock. That's how much ground coffee it'll grind into the basket. So you can set this so that it gives you 18 grams. The way I like to do it is, I like to keep it on single, even though this is a double shot. And you can put the filter size here, so how much coffee it'll grind. You can put it on double. I personally like to keep it on single and do it twice. I find that to be more consistent. So that's my first dose. Let's measure that. 10 grams, so I'll dial it back. Okay, that's 9 grams. So after my first dose, I'll press with the tamper, just like so, and then I'll do it again. Okay, this is the second dose. Let's see how much that was. Yeah, that's 8.5. So you can probably keep it here. So not the lowest setting, the second lowest. So just about 10 o'clock over here. Well, you could say 11 o'clock really. Just on the 11 o'clock position. That should give you about 9 grams per click. I mean, you can always trim it if you have too much coffee. And if you don't have a scale, I like to do this trick. So make sure that when you grind the 2 doses, the full dose, so the full double shot, your coffee is more or less level with the top of the basket here. So I haven't tamped it yet, and it's about as level as the top of the basket. And that's 18 grams. Sorry, that was actually 17 and a half. Let me add a little bit. Okay. That should be 18 grams. Yep. So as you noticed, if you click the grind button, it will grind for the dose. But if you hold it, it'll only grind for as long as you hold it for. So you can top it off a little bit, just like what I did now. Anyway, so when you have the full dose here, you want to flatten it with your palm or with your fingers. Then grab the tamper and press it down nice and firm. Make sure it's level and make sure it's a clean surface at the end, which is what you see now. You will notice that when you have 18 grams and you press it down nice and firm, it goes about as deep as this silver cap here, the silver part of this tamper. That's like a good indicator of the dose. So the height or the depth should be as deep as this. As you see, that's the case. And when you press, it just disappears. I usually look at this if I don't have a scale with me. So when you're done, clean the edges and lock it in. So you're just beyond 6 o'clock position, or maybe, yeah, I would say 5 o'clock. Don't force it too hard. If you notice that it's really hard to put in, that's probably because you have too much coffee. But anyway, I think if you go a little bit beyond 6 o'clock position, that should be good. Just be careful not to put it too loose, such that it falls off as you make the coffee. That would be quite a mess. Okay, so that's my ground coffee, 18 grams. We're going to aim to double that in terms of liquid coffee. So we put 18 grams in, we want to aim for 36 grams out. Here's my cup here. I'm going to drain the water. And at this stage you can add sugar, hazelnut syrup, whatever flavors you'd like to add. So I'll do that. And I'm going to tear my scale to 0. And now I'm ready to make the coffee. So when you make the coffee, you want to pay attention to 2 things. The pressure gauge. You want the pressure gauge to be in the top range, so about 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock position. And you want to look at the flow. You want it to be nice and smooth, not too quick, not too slow. If it is too quick, you will need to make this 1 click finer. So the grind size 1 click finer. And if it's too slow, you want to make it 1 click coarser. And that's assuming you're using good fresh beans. If you're using stale beans, this process becomes much harder. Okay. I'm going to program the button for you so that it gives you the right amount. So these buttons over here, they're programmable. You can make them as long or as short as you want. I'm going to press program, and I'm going to press double. I'll stop it right there. So that was quite quick. That was about 18 seconds. This tells me that I need to make my grind size finer, maybe by 1 or 2 clicks. So the next step would be to change the grind size. So you want to change the grind size when the grinder is grinding. So now it's on number 4. Hopefully that would be noticeably slower. and it would give us slightly better coffee. So this was okay. It would be drinkable, I would assume. I haven't tasted it yet. We got 40 grams, so it's slightly longer than I was hoping. But that's fine. You can always reprogram this later if you'd like. But this is the length of the shot that it gave me. I think for most people this is drinkable or like decent. As you saw, we got good crema. The flow was, I would say, symmetrical. It wasn't more on one side, but yeah, it was a bit quicker. So usually I would aim for that doubling, so I would aim for 36 grams in about 20 to 30 seconds from the button press. So we got, I think, 15 or 18 seconds, can't remember, so which is slightly too quick. But anyway, I'll leave that up to you to mess with. It's on grind size number 4 now. You can try that using whatever beans you're using. Just be sure to not go too fine, too quick. So keep it on 4 and try. If 4 is too quick, maybe try 3. Don't jump to 1 because that might damage the grinder if you go too fine, too quick. You know, the burrs can actually touch if you go too fine. But yeah, hopefully number 4 would be more than sufficient for you. Just make sure you're using fresh beans, as fresh as you can get. So either freshly roasted from a roaster, or a decent supermarket bean, for example, Aldi. But if you get things like Coles or Vittoria, I find those to be very frustrating to work with because they're usually very stale right off the shelf. After this shot, so I'm going to take out the portafilter and knock off the coffee into a knock box. I do have a knock box for sale if you're interested. And then I'm going to run a blank shot, so another press of the double button, this time to rinse any coffee grounds from the group head and the portafilter. So you can do that, or you could use a tissue to wipe it off. Be sure to keep your machine nice and clean. Next, we're steaming the milk. So turn it on, wait a few seconds. So, sorry, I forgot to say. If you turn it away from you, you'll get hot water from the hot water tap. If you turn it towards you, you'll get steam. So give it a few seconds, it'll start steaming. The more you wait, the stronger the steam will get. I would say that's about full pressure. Just quickly, I filled my milk jug about halfway, and to steam, I'm gonna wait for it to start outputting steam, and then I'm gonna turn it off, and then I'm gonna put the wand sort of at an angle, close to the surface of the milk, and try to spin the milk in a circle. There we go. You want to aim for this hissing noise. That means you're injecting air into the milk. And I'm going to turn it off when it's too hot to touch for more than half a second or so. So right about now. Very important, take out the wand and purge it, just to rid it of any milk. And then wait for the machine to cool down. It will just purge water to cool down the boiler. And of course, grab a wet towel and wipe off the steam wand straight away. The sooner you clean it, the easier it is to clean. Very good. And that's a latte or cappuccino on a Breville Barista Express. So, I'm going to mix up my espresso shot. Then I'm going to grab my milk. I'm going to knock it on the table, so on the counter, for a couple times until I break all the bubbles on the surface. And then I'm going to swirl it around to mix it up and give it that smooth texture. Do that a couple times until you're happy with the texture. Now it's very, very smooth. This is a very volumetric cappuccino foam. Yeah, that looks beautiful. And I have some extra milk that I can give my cat. Want some milk? Anyway, that's done. This is quite an easy machine to use. I think you'll love it. With some practice, you can even do some latte art on the steam wand, just like a barista. Here's the final result. It's a beautiful foam cappuccino. I'm sure it'll taste great. I'm looking forward to having it. And yeah, I think you'll love the machine. If you have any questions or concerns, feel free to message me. Yeah, thanks for watching.